Good morning and good afternoon. Thank you for joining us for today's coffee chat with Starboard. Today we'll be talking about new features, new functionality, and what you need to know about the Maximo Roadmap. My name is Alex Duggan. Just a few quick housekeeping notes. All audience members will be in listen-only mode, but we welcome and we encourage your questions through the chat window. After the event, we'll be following up with a copy of today's presentation, a link to the replay video, as well as some additional Maximo resource slides that presenter Kim Woodbury has put together for you from IBM. And now let's begin. Leading today's discussion is Amy Tatum, Vice President of Starboard Consulting. Amy has over 25 years of experience as an engineer and technology consultant and has managed countless Maximo projects and implementations. She's also served as our featured presenter for the Coffee Chat series. Amy, welcome. Go ahead and take it away.
All right. Thanks, Alex, very much. Appreciate it. Good afternoon and good morning for those of you still over on the West Coast. As Alex said, I'm Amy Tatum. I'm with Starboard Consulting. Starboard is a Maximo implementer and technology firm. We're a premier gold business partner, and those of us on the team have been implementing Maximo for 20 years or more, and we are all experienced working together with integrations, asset management, and Starboard as a company provides a full service of Maximo assessments, upgrades, implementations, training, support, you name it. If it has anything to do with IBM Maximo, then we can probably make it happen for you. With me today is Kim Woodbury. Kim's a senior member of the Maximo offering management team. Her roles over the last 2 decades with Maximo have included positions in support, design, product management. She currently focuses on core Maximo enterprise asset management and works across the broader community to communicate how the investments being made by IBM to expand and enhance the entire Maximo portfolio will provide value to asset-intensive industries worldwide. Kim is a trusted resource to provide a transparent view of the roadmap, pricing, packaging, as well as how the strategy within the Maximo portfolio contributes to client success. So Kim, thank you for joining us today. Welcome. We're excited to talk with you a little bit about the Maximo Roadmap and what's coming down the pipe with that. Before we jump in, I think we're going to do just a quick poll to see for the participants that are with us today, kind of where they are in their Maximo journey right now.
Yes, thanks, Amy. So in your chat window, you will see a quick poll. We'd just love to hear where you're at. What version of Maximo, if you're using Maximo, is your organization currently using? Got a lot of people already on 6.1.
Yep.
Folks across the board. We'll give you just one more minute. Great. Thanks so much for sharing. Amy, Kim, back to you.
Thank you. So Kim, welcome. Thanks for joining us today. You've been around Maximo for a little bit, as have I, and you've seen a lot of exciting changes that have taken place going back from when IBM bought Maximo from MRO and then where they've taken it since there. Where do you see the investment and the innovation for the IBM Maximo community going today?
Yeah, thanks for having me. Glad to be here. Hoping I can share some of that insight with the audience. I see some familiar names here attending, so good afternoon, everyone. You know, I think that it's important for us to really focus on what we're doing for EAM. There is some new releases coming out just in July of this year. So as we take a look at sort of that short-term view, it's important to get everyone updated on what's coming next, but also then talk about not only our expanded offerings, but we've heard some announcements about Maximo 8 and the application suite, and where we're kind of going with the next generation of technology, if you will. A number of us have been around for a long time and have seen that progression as we've moved, you know, from client server to Java, and now trying to respond to newer technologies and being available, and you know, setting the foundation, building out that platform that will take us through the next 15 or 20 years.
Awesome. Yeah, I see at the bottom of the slide here, there's the new delivery models. So as you mentioned, we've all been hearing about Maximo 8 and are excited about what that has in store for us. But like you said, there's new releases coming out just right around the corner. So let's focus on those first before we move into the new ones. So what's in store for this year? What can we expect next?
Yeah, so we've been doing a lot of work focusing on these deliverables that are coming midsummer. We say here second half, and usually we've got, all the 621Xs, but it will be 7612, and we're looking at towards the end of July for the release date. So I'll start with that Maximo Core. We've been continuing to improve the work center. So we know over the last 18 months, 2 years, we've continued to roll additional ones out, continue to add capabilities. With the last release, we had a number of them in supply chain, and so you'll see a couple of new ones there. I think that's a significant addition with picking and staging around inventory, and then a lot of other enhancements for work centers. There's also a number of things in core, and really important that we're responding to our customer enhancement requests. So we've been able to focus on a number of those. We look at high votes, we look at, technical feasibility and where it fits in our plans, and all of those things come together. But, some things that sound simple, like being able to attach multiple documents, at the same time to a record, that has been addressed. Things where we can allow our customers to build out an entity relationship diagram. Introducing a refreshed drill down view.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, that navigation, and I'll just put the caveat there, like we do with a lot of things, this will be an option. So, people can choose to enable that or not. And then there's a number of technology things. So we'll have the list of details like currency updates, new databases to support, new versions of all of the middleware, etc. And things like email listener protocols, right? OAuth listener is going to now be supported, and we've done some other things around email attachments and how we handle embedded images. There's quite a bit there. I'm really happy we were able to kind of push some of these things through in our planning and really push our resources to do the right thing. The other thing that's not even mentioned on this slide is there's a ton of APARs that were addressed. I think in the 500 range, and not only addressed, but we're including the documentation in the README as to what those are. So that's been a big request too, that we just have more transparency about, what was actually done.
That's great. I know we've often joked over time about the undocumented features that get released in each new edition. So
yeah, they escape the building without us knowing.
Cool.
So moving across, so scheduler, let's not forget to talk about scheduler, because that also has some really significant changes that some of our customers, the people that are using it today, have been asking for heat map views and calendar views so that they can have a better kind of intuitive, what they're used to looking at view when they're trying to schedule those resources. And there's also a number of things on the optimization engine side. So we're using a new version of that iLog CPlex Studio, and then also providing some tools to help you sort of manage your data and do some data scrubbing, or at least understand the quality of that data before you get into running those optimization models so they could be more successful. LBS Spatial, so location-based services, that's what LBS is. So there's also sort of a package. There's going to be a release of spatial, of linear, and of utilities, of course, because that bundles spatial. Some offline mapping improvements, and that comes into being able to see them on work centers and how they're dealt with in the mobile world. Better control of or security and allowing the right people to see the right kind of data that's kind of matched to what you do on the Maximo side. And then updating the technology. Esri has a new way of doing synchronization that we're going to be taking advantage of. So I guess the one caveat with all of that, because of those technology changes, you will have to be on Maximo 7612 with this new version of spatial. There's not going to be that backwards compatibility that we sometimes are able to provide. So those kind of go hand in hand. And then these are truly second half, right? A couple of industry solutions. So oil and gas and HSE, they have a long list of things that they've been saving up and working on over, a period of time. And they're going to have a couple of releases coming out back to back in the fall and early next year that are going to address a lot of kind of customer feedback and incremental features there. Civil infrastructure is actually a new industry solution. So when you talk about, what is the investment being made by IBM, that's just a great, evidence of our expansion and continuing to look at the, sort of traditional asset management capabilities that are needed by our customers and really helping with bridges, tunnels, that kind of infrastructure, and connecting the IoT world to better help with the maintenance there.
Awesome. Lots of good stuff coming. Very exciting. So other than the new features, from an end user perspective, I mean, obviously there's a lot of new things that they can do, but will they see any big changes, any changes to the look and feel of the UI or navigation beyond the drill down piece that you mentioned that might require additional training or change management?
Yeah, no, nothing yet. I think that it is still under what we consider a feature pack, right? When we talk about just updating that fourth number. So it shouldn't be a major upgrade effort. It shouldn't be a major training effort or initiative, right? There's a lot of things on the technical side, and the drill down piece is optional, right? It's going to be another system property kind of setting that you can enable or not enable to your preference.
Okay, fantastic. So new releases often mean that prior releases start to sunset, and I know 7.6.0 came out, gosh, all the way back in 2014, I think. So it's been around a while. Yeah, it doesn't seem like it's been that long, but it has. So from a timeline perspective, what are we looking at as far as into support and things?
Yeah, so I'm working on this now too. As part of my introduction, I should also add, not only do I talk about new stuff and spend a lot of time trying to figure out what we're going to be delivering next, but what old stuff do we need to get rid of?
Sure.
As you know, it just becomes, it's really a investment for us to continue to try and support some of these older versions when the middleware and some of the currency starts to get dated. So we're working on a plan to announce this coming September for our 7.6.0 set of products. So that would be the corresponding industry solutions and add-ons that are on that level to be end of support effective in September of 2021. So that's over a year from now. And hopefully I didn't actually see the results of the poll, but from what I've seen, we've done these in other sessions, that most people are staying current. Mm-hmm. I think that we've done a lot to improve the upgrade capabilities and that it's a little bit more streamlined and not as challenging maybe as it has been in the past. So hopefully this won't be an issue. And there is always the extended support option that can take you out to 2024 if you need some additional time.
Okay, great. Well, I went back and looked at the poll. It was almost 75% were already on 7.6.1, so great. People are staying pretty current. I guess just a quick bit of shameless self-promotion for those of you that aren't on 7.6.1. If you need any help planning for executing that upgrade, definitely reach out to Starboard, and we'll be happy to see what we can do there. So looking at the graphic, I see that bottom line there says "R next." What does that mean, and is that the application suite we've been hearing a little bit about lately, or something else?
Yeah, that is likely going to be what is going to be 8.0. Yeah, sorry, I thought I hit that, but that's good. We can go for it. That is what is likely going to be what we're calling 8.0, which is our application suite. And this, when we talk about Maximo here, we need to start thinking about Maximo in the broader context of all the capabilities that support asset management. And so if you look at the circle, we have solutions for Monitor, which is kind of recently added to the portfolio, being able to bring those real-time alerts in through a dashboard from other sort of SCADA systems, if you will, and then using that data to feed into to either what we're going to be calling the EAM portion is manage, is kind of on the top of the circle here. And so you'll start to get familiar with that terminology, or health, right? So we've been talking about Asset Health Insights, or MAHI, has been around for a while. So being able to better understand life cycle management. So all of these capabilities, including the safety predict, assist, will be under a single part number, a single contract, and that common entitlement. So hoping that we can ease the administration, making sure that those concurrent users, if you want to install just one of those things or all of those things, you have those choices, and can manage the user access to them using what we're calling points, right? So it's just a new system and a simplified way to kind of open up sort of the aperture to what you might have access to from a procurement perspective, as well as allows us to take advantage of new technology with the OpenShift containers to allow it to be deployed on any kind of either hybrid cloud, private cloud, if what would be on premise, or using something like, AWS or Azure or IBM's services to host that.
Okay. Lots of big changes there. What's going to be available? I think on the roadmap that's coming out in 2021. I think I saw on the previous slide.
Yeah. So there's some journey here and phased approach, if you will.
Okay,
So
sure.
the first release that was announced includes Monitor on the OpenShift container capability, but as part of that contract or that part number, customers could also be entitled to EAM 761 that's available today,
Okay.
right? So the phased approach is we're going to continue to add things to that OpenShift container delivery. So you'll start to see health and predict and safety, and we're targeting for the end of this year, although even all the roadmaps, I'm trying to be a little bit more conservative and put it out in the first quarter of 2021, but we would like to do that sooner and have the Maximo manage piece also delivered in that container. So it's sort of a technology statement. I wanted to separate the entitlement conversation from the technology conversation.
Absolutely, because that entitlement conversation can get pretty complicated pretty quickly. So definitely don't want to go there.
Yeah, we're trying to simplify some of the licensing. Today we have sort of a lot of things on that menu that you can buy, different add-ons, and we're trying to collapse some of that to make it a little more straightforward.
Okay. What about training and education, helping people find out more information about this and what will be coming out?
Yeah, we are working very hard on that. So there should be some notifications, some things being scheduled. I think the date I had was like June 20th is when we're going to start publishing the schedule for customer-facing education. We've moved everything to the new skills gateway, so we'll start to announce what kind of materials and courses and information might be available there for people to learn more.
Fantastic. Well, lots of exciting things to look forward to and learn about. So before we open it up to questions from our audience, just a couple quick updates. We did a scheduler coffee chat, or not scheduler, anywhere, a couple months ago now, but can you touch on that for just a minute? What's new with Anywhere? Because it's changed quite a bit as well over the years.
Yeah, and we're continuing to have this big focus on mobility, and so that maybe should have even been on the upfront, although this was delivered in February, but moving the technology and the foundation away from that mobile first component. So we understood that there were lots of challenges with the deployment of mobility in the past, and so Pam and the team, and we did a great job of this first release that removes that dependency, right, and has this simplified application with direct connectivity to Maximo, but also becomes a foundation for our offline work centers and the continued kind of update of the platform of Maximo to support new technology.
Okay, fantastic. Yeah, we've done some installs with that newer platform, and it is definitely a lot simpler than it used to be. So very excited about that.
Yeah, we've got a lot of great feedback on it. Yep.
Yeah. I bet, I bet. So another area, and you touched on this a little bit with the application suite, but the journey to predict, I mean, there's a lot of pieces coming in here, becoming more available. So what's your take on that?
Yeah, so I think that, as we open up the suite, and sorry, I was just distracted looking at the questions for a second, but yeah, I
We'll
think
get
if I
to those.
covered everything, yeah, we'll get to them. That really, we've always wanted to help our customers move through this asset management maturity curve, and being able to get that real-time data. When we started talking about IoT, we've always talked about connected assets, but looking at some of the tools we have with Monitor, really trying to understand where asset health fits into your plans for becoming, more reliability centric, and moving towards predict, right, when it's appropriate for the right assets, critical assets. So these are all areas of investment under still the Maximo umbrella. And even in speaking to some of the analysts, although APM, asset performance management, was always sort of a separate discipline, they're starting to see the connection as well, and how this is all really interconnected and important for the success of customers to embrace all of these different areas.
Okay. Well, you were just looking at the chat, so let's go ahead and pop over to that and see what we've got in the window here.
Yeah. What do we mean by currency update? Should I start right at the top?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, I just saw that one. So when I say currency, I mean like DB2, WebSphere, even things like Chrome browsers. It's the middleware components, and so the versions. Oh, the cat's coming in on our chat here. Hi. Hopefully that answers that. And we'll publish all of this. I'll have, some what's new in 7612, or I think in the backup even, we may have added some slides with the details
We
of
did.
exactly
So,
what versions of what are supported.
yeah, we'll send those out as follow-up to this, some additional slides that have a little more detail in them for that. One of the things I think we also might want to include in the slides, I'm not sure if everybody knows the link you mentioned in the 7612 release, that there's a lot of the RFEs that were voted for that were included in that. And I think it's important to make sure that the community knows where to find those and how to vote for them.
Sure. Yeah.
I know we do pretty regularly, especially the ones that are put in for our clients, but it's always good to get that information out there as well. There's a question here about the drill down, the updated drill down. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Yeah, so it was actually done by one of our technical teams in Europe, sort of as a services project that we've now pulled in, right? So it's always good to, so I guess the point of that is that it's been proven, right? So it was based on customer requests, and we have several customers using it through that services offering, but just color coding new icons, being able to drill down deeper than just asset and location, down to like job plan, PM, item.
Okay.
Being able to drag and drop assets, so you could do an asset move like right in the tree, or location, and it will follow the logic and ask the right questions. So yeah, some nice features like that, and again, we'll have some screenshots and t-text and things to help you understand it more.
Perfect. Well, that's good. Are scheduler updates and location-based services being released at the same time as 7612?
Yeah, those are all targeted for the same date in July. But there was also something in there about, are they included in 7612? They're still licensed separately. Okay. So although scheduler code is delivered with 7612, you still need the license key to unlock it, which requires that you purchase that option.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay. Any online test environments to try new features and releases? I know there's a demo environment out there, but I don't know how current it is.
Yeah, we didn't put one out for this, but we will update the customer demo site as soon as we can. So on that GA date, it'll be there.
Okay. Very good. What else have we got in here?
I think I saw Darlene on the attendees. You hear that, Darlene? We're going to update the
Is Darlene the one we call next time we go to log into that site and it's not working?
No,
No.
not sure.
Oh, goodness.
Let me scroll down here too, because I'm on the top one. Scheduler, new version.
How about the Work Center enhancements? I know there's some configuration capabilities with the work execution and work supervision, I think. Anything else coming down the line on that?
Well, so this is where that first step of the Anywhere update is going to be the foundation for that new configurable, and will also end up being part of the 8.0 release, hopefully, right? So we are continuing to move not only the designs, so we're doing some accelerated updates with the IBM, they call it carbon-based design, so that we have a consistent look and feel across all of IBM products, as well as building out our own refreshed platform for the work centers. So that will allow us to have that configuration. I don't know, with some other things that we were kind of missing, like, I don't know, enabling workflow and, globalization and translations, upgradability, things like that. So that's all part of that work under the 8.0 umbrella.
Okay. And the second part of this question was if we'll be doing a coffee chat on work centers, and the answer to that is actually yes. Our July coffee chat series, we're going to do a 2-part on the work centers. One will be focused more on the inspection work centers and the reporting capabilities around the inspection data. And then the second will be focused on the work supervision and execution and the configuration capabilities available there. So for anybody on the call today that's interested in more work center information, definitely tune back in with us in July and we'll cover those in a lot more detail.
Yeah, I just see the one about container-based deployment. There is a tech note that's published, and I can get the link, and we can include it in the backup about how to set up deployment in containers yourself. There's also a place where you can go and download our sample. So there's 2 links that I can provide that can give you some more information on that. And then
out of time, so we'll find 1 or 2 more questions in here, and then we'll probably need to wrap it up.
Yeah, so I do see a question about document management systems. Yeah. So I don't know of anything specifically that's targeted for the first release of 8.0, but that is one that we do have a lot of requests for, and that should probably be looked at as we, continue to move forward with the 8.0 work. So we'll.
On a broader note than that, any integration framework changes overall that we might need to look for in the future?
Well, the thing that I guess I would encourage people to do as we move to this OpenShift Red Hat world is to start getting educated on that, because the integration is Kafka, not JMS queues. So I'm just starting to learn this myself. So there was actually some sessions that Anna Mitra was doing to sort of expose some of the new possibilities with Kafka and what you need to do to, I guess, transfer the logic from JMS queues to use that new technology, and what opportunities there are there. But we're continuing to update the REST APIs. Actually, if you look at the 7612 list, there's a lot of other technical things like that, like the way API keys are generated, and more places for scripting. There were some things about the PM, the WoGen logging. There's a lot of logging updates and more messaging and different formats. So again, a lot of technical stuff that's, a little bit beyond me, but we're going to do our really good job on the release notes so everyone can learn all about it.
Yes, please. All right. Well, we're pretty much out of time. So thank you everyone for joining today. And thank you very much, Kim, for all of the information that you've provided. We're glad to get the chance to chat with you and hope to talk with you more in the future. Upcoming, our next coffee chat will be in 2 weeks. That one's going to focus on 3D GIS and Maximo. So for those of you that aren't familiar with 3D GIS, you've probably heard of BIM. And 3D GIS, this is basically taking BIM post-construction. So if you didn't have the design and engineering and pre-construction BIM models generated, but you can get the post one, then this is enabling that integration with your Maximo. Of course, we're always available if you want to schedule a demo, reach out, get more information, things like that. And we'll be again doing work centers in July. And that's pretty much it. So thanks everyone for joining. Alex, back over to you. Well, not sure where Alex is. So thanks everyone. We appreciate your time today and enjoy the rest of your day.